What's it like to spend 7 days on the world's largest ship? Well, we were recently on the Icon of the Seas, and we have some thoughts. We found out some pretty interesting things. Some of these things were good, and some were not so good. And one we actually wish we knew before we boarded the ship. In this video, we're going to share the pros and cons of this massive ship. The first pro was the overall design of the ship. It was absolutely fantastic, and they named it the Icon for a reason because this ship and the design broke the mold and is like no other ship that we've ever been on before. Like many of the Oasis class ships on Royal Caribbean, the Icon of the Seas has neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods are spread all around the ship. There's Thrill Island, where you would find all the water slides and the flow rider, everything to have all the thrills that you want. There's Chill Island, and that's the area of the ship where the main pool is, as well as some smaller pools and some hot tubs. There's the Hideaway, which is the adult-only area on this ship, so you have to be 18 and older to get into the area of the Hideaway. There's the Aquadome neighborhood, and that's where you find the Aquadome Theater and the Aquadome Market, and that's where they put on the Aqua Show. There's Surfside, and this is an area of the ship designed for families. And so there's a buffet there, there's the pool, there's Splashaway Bay, there's a bar for the parents. Overall, this is a wonderful area for families. And if you want as a family, you can stay in that area the whole day and not even move because everything you need is there. We were really impressed overall with that area of the ship for sure. Icon of the Seas also has a Central Park, which is a fan favorite neighborhood that can also be found on the Oasis class ship. We loved spending time in Central Park. It's just so beautiful. You can sit and relax, have a drink. There's places to eat. You can stroll along the walkway and just look at the beautiful plants, enjoy the starry sky at night. It's a fantastic place to hang out. And last but not least is the suite neighborhood. And you only have access to the suite neighborhood if you're in a suite. So we didn't get to go to that part, but it looks beautiful. In addition to the neighborhoods, another really good thing about the ship was the crowd distribution. There was so many different places for people to go on this ship.
Everywhere you go, there are little areas, little nooks where there's seating for 2 or seating for 4. You can find a nice quiet place to have a glass of wine or a drink, or, if you're going out in the morning, have a cup of coffee and just people watch and experience the serenity or the craziness and the hubbub, depending on where you find you want to sit.
Yes, for a ship this size, we really were impressed with how many places that you could go if you wanted to be by yourself. Another pro on this ship that we really enjoyed were the shows. The main attraction show on this ship is the Wizard of Oz, and let me tell you, we enjoyed it thoroughly. The Wizard of Oz has been a favorite of mine since I was a little girl. I mean, really. I've probably sung Somewhere Over the Rainbow a million times, and I probably could recite the movie. I had really high expectations when we saw this show, and it did not disappoint. It was fantastic. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone and oversell it, and I'm not going to say too much about the show, but we were blown away by the Wizard of Oz, and what they could do on a cruise ship with a show is amazing. So if you're going on this cruise ship, don't miss the Wizard of Oz. It's a must-see. We also spent a night in the Dueling Piano Bar for the Dueling Piano shows, which is about a 45-minute show, and it was phenomenal. We had such a good time in this show. I guess you could call it a show. I think it's a show. It was a dueling piano show, but it has a lot of audience participation. They take requests. You do a lot of dancing and singing. It was fantastic. We loved the dueling piano show. And again, I feel like it's a must do if you're on this ship. And the last show that we saw was the Aqua Show in the Aqua Theater. It was fantastic. The Aqua Show is a staple on the Oasis class ships, and it was really nice to see it here in a different way on the Icon of the Seas. It's a must-see for sure. We didn't get to go to as many shows as we would have liked to because 7 days goes really fast, and we just didn't get to everything. So if you saw a show that you liked that I didn't mention, make a comment below because I would love to hear what you thought of any of the shows that we didn't get to see while we were on the Icon of the Seas. Another pro we really felt while we were on the ship was the food. We thought the food was phenomenal on the ship for sure. And we've sailed on many Royal Caribbean ships, and honestly, we felt like the Icon of the Seas had some of the best food. I'm not going to list everything because we couldn't possibly go to everything, but here's the thing that we experienced while we were on the Icon. The Windjammer, which is the name of the buffet on the Icon of the Seas, had fantastic choices every day. We never were at a loss. We ate a lot of breakfast, a lot of lunch, and a few dinners at the Windjammer, and we enjoyed it thoroughly. There was just so much food to choose from, but not only that, the food quality was excellent. We were just so impressed. We were so impressed by the Windjammer. Another favorite of ours while we were on the ship was the Aquadome Market. This is a new restaurant concept that's aboard the Icon of the Seas, and no other Royal Caribbean ship has it. And it was wonderful. It's just like it said, it was a market. You could get Asian food, you could get Mediterranean food, which I loved, the gyro. They had a mac and cheese bar. There were sandwiches and salad. And then to top it all off, they had a crepe station, and you could get some very delicious crepes. I had a crepe with bananas and hazelnut and vanilla cream. Oh my goodness. I'm still thinking about it now. It was so good. The Aquadome Market was fantastic, and honestly, we probably could have eaten there every night. We didn't, but we could have. A couple of other choices for food also are the Pearl Cafe, which is where you can grab some quick bites. It's right by the Pearl, right above the promenade, and they really had a great amount of things to snack on. They also had some really good quick breakfast choices, as well as some good quick lunch choices. We didn't really get to eat there. We had a snack there, but it was really good. I was impressed by some of the choices that were there, and it had a beautiful view because right by the Pearl Cafe is this gorgeous floor-to-ceiling window, and you could just sit there and drink your coffee and eat your snack and look at the beautiful scenery outside, whether you're sitting in a port or whether you're sailing on the ocean. It was gorgeous. We also like the Park Cafe, and the Park Cafe is located right in Central Park. It has some really great breakfast and lunch choices. Some of the lunch choices are sandwiches and salads. It's a great place to go if you don't feel like the hustle and bustle of the buffet. You just want to grab something quick for breakfast or quick for lunch. The Park Cafe is the answer to that if you're trying to grab something quick. Base Camp was another food option as well that was located up by Thrill Island on the pool decks, and we really like Base Camp. Base Camp has some included options and it has some upcharge options, and we tried them all. You can see that in our food video. I'll link it here below. But we really loved the whole Base Camp area, not just the food that was there, even though that's what we're talking about. The whole Base Camp area was fantastic. It was under shade. There was lots of chairs. There was lots of tables. There's a bar. We really found ourselves gravitating toward this Base Camp area because it was just so open and it was shaded and it was a great place to just hang out. Of course, a couple of staples that are on every Royal Caribbean ship, the main dining room, which we ate in 1 or 2 nights we were there. And again, they had some really solid options. We like the main dining room, but we didn't eat as much in the main dining room on this particular cruise because we wanted to experience everything the Icon had. Also located right on the promenade, a staple of Royal Caribbean is Sorrento's, and it's there if you want to grab a quick piece of pizza. Okay, so what are some of the cons? I'm outside now, so I'm going to put my sunglasses on because it's a beautiful day outside here today, and I want to enjoy it. We didn't have that many cons, but some of the cons we had, we felt pretty strongly about. One of the things we wish we knew before we booked the cruise was the time of year that we were going and how many families and kids would be on board. So we went on this cruise right around mid-ish toward the end of June. We sailed out on the 16th, June 15th or June 16th, and that was right after school vacation was over. There was just so many kids on board that it really affected our experience. And that's not to say that we don't like kids. We love kids. We have our own kids. We have grandkids. We love them. I'm just saying it affected the experience. You don't want that experience, and you want to have some time on the Icon of the Seas so that you can really enjoy this ship, but you don't maybe want as many kids around. Don't go during summer break, and try to avoid school holidays. And although that's not always possible, I'm going to say summer is probably the busiest that it is as far as having kids being on the ship. Now, I'm going to say something that's really important. This Royal Caribbean ship, the Icon of the Seas, is being marketed as like the #1 family vacation. Royal Caribbean is going up against Disney Cruise Line. They're going up against Walt Disney World. They want the families. So I get that 100%. I get that 1,000%. It's just our experience was different than maybe if we went in September or October or January or February at a time when there's maybe not so many kids on school break of some sort. That's all I'm saying. We had a wonderful time. It was fantastic. There was something like 15 or 1,700 kids on board when we were on board. That was a lot, and it impacted our experience. And Mark's going to talk about a little bit how that impacted our experience.
And one of the ways that it affected the trip was the main pool got closed down four times.
4 times.
Yeah. And that was due to kids having accidents in the pool.
And we don't blame kids for that. We kind of blame parents for that. But it was still a fact.
Yeah.
Nevertheless.
Yes. And what happened was it forces everybody from the closed down pool into all the other pools, which really ups the population in those pools.
Yeah.
And then things start to feel crowded and tight.
Yeah, because this was the main pool.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like one of the little pools. And there's not a lot of main pools on the Icon of the Seas. There's one big main pool.
Yeah.
And there's lots of little pools all around. And that's in addition to the whirlpools and the hot tubs.
Right.
There's a few little pools, which if you're in there, you're just kind of soaking up. But when kids get in there, they want to swim.
Right.
But it's not a swimmable pool. So
Right. Some of the smaller pools, it gets really tight, and then the kids are jumping around and they want to dive and they want to do all that kind of stuff. They want to be kids.
Right. It completely understandable. But like I said earlier, it really did impact our week because for the main pool to be closed 4 times, people were complaining.
It's not a quick turnaround.
No, it's hours. One other con that we had was we really were not a big fan of the Hideaway. The Hideaway is the adult-only area on this Royal Caribbean ship. We really weren't that big a fan. And a lot of adults were utilizing it. And I think that speaks to like my earlier con where there was just so many kids on the ship that if you were just 2 adults or 4 adults on this ship, you were looking for a place where it was adult only. And the Hideaway certainly meets that criteria, but there were so many people utilizing it. I think we felt like that the Hideaway was a little small. The pool was small. The bar area was a little smaller than we were used to. And then they had a whole bunch of lounge chairs, but the lounge chairs were all in the sun. And I know it sounds silly to say the lounge chairs were all in the sun, but usually when you're sitting out in the lounge chair in the middle of the Caribbean, you like to have some sort of a respite, a place where you can go. So if you want to sit in the sun, you can sit in the sun. But if there's some people that want to sit in the shade, they can sit in the shade. And there really wasn't that option in the Hideaway. We just felt that the whole area was small. We felt that the pool was small. However, a caveat to my con is the Hideaway is in a stellar location. It's in the aft of the ship. It's beautiful back there. The aft of the ship is probably one of the most popular areas on a ship, so it was well placed for sure. So even though we're talking cons, that's a positive I'll say about the Hideaway. Overall, we really enjoyed and loved the Icon of the Seas.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the video, this ship is one of a kind, and they named it properly because it is iconic. We've never been on a ship like this. We enjoyed it so much. We didn't even get to see and do as much as we would have wanted to.
Yeah.
We really loved it, and I would highly recommend you going on the Icon of the Seas because it's an experience.
Oh, for sure.
If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe to our channel so you can see some other future videos we'll be putting out. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel out so much.
So like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.